Greetings, friends. Communication errors. Right. What's happening with people and what's going on in general? I see that this is a very, very interesting topic. It is especially interesting because in our information world, there is more and more information. And it is generated at such an incredibly fast speed and so meticulously detailed and specifically visualized, with fonts, pictures, slogans being selected. Artificial intelligences study those very ideas and words that will have the maximum impact on a person, and they say exactly these words, use them in advertising, yes, but in reality, it means absolutely nothing. This is simply to grab your attention, to draw your focus to a particular product, to attract you somewhere. Against this backdrop, the value of information sharply decreases. That is, if we look at how we used to interact with each other in the past, how valuable any piece of knowledge or information was, and how much importance we placed on it when interacting with one another. Imagine, in my time there was indeed some truly valuable information that was truly worth its weight in gold. We didn't know how to do yoga, so we copied these kinds of tomes onto A4 sheets. They printed screenshots on A4 and other things because, well, there were no actual books on yoga or some other books were banned. Please, all the knowledge, all these books, everything is available in electronic format and they have been posted 10 times over. If something is not there, it is 100% on Amazon or somewhere else. Yes, all this information is now practically in open access, provided so that you can reach it. But in addition to this information, there is indeed such a huge pile of junk information that it is really difficult to sort through and understand what is true and what is false, and what is not. Or that it's about 50% true or 80%. Yes. 5 to 10% of lies can significantly steer all of this in a different direction. Do you understand how increasingly more and more difficult it has become in this information world to discern what makes sense and what doesn't? And the trend is moving towards a point where almost all information, about 80% of it, will soon be fiction, designed to capture your attention for what they need. In the near future, it is expected that a significant portion of this information will be fabricated or fictionalized. Against this backdrop, yes, once again I want to raise the question, can you systematize this information? Can you somehow organize it, analyze it in some way? The analysis of information. First and foremost, analyze for adequacy, truthfulness, suitability, completeness, and whether you need it at all. There is a growing need to verify the information that reaches people in various forms and from different sources, and to try to analyze its adequacy to ensure its reliability and accuracy, because it is becoming more and more prevalent and increasingly important in our daily lives. That is, we see even in global processes. People can very easily blame each other, like, if something happens, you say, it wasn't me, it was him. Kindergarten stuff, right? But it works. We see that people are kind of doing something like that. And then, there is information terrorism, where specific and meticulously targeted campaigns are deliberately created against something. Yes, I was acquainted with some guys who had their own space where they did various activities and such. Then there are fewer and fewer people with them. There's no one at all. And I meet with the owner. It seems like there are fewer people, he says. Can you imagine? Some people started writing in our chats, creating some chats among themselves, uniting people, throwing in information about what happened here, some event there. 10 to 20% of what they said was true, but about 80% were just made up stories. but because in those communities and chats where our people were active, they started pouring in blatant negativity, yes, and about the leaders of the whole, about their negligence, and that their rooms are 10 times more expensive than the free ones, and that there are better options here. And in the end, can you imagine, they bombarded him. And that's it. He had to completely abandon the idea because there was no way to continue working. This is the kind of systematic and well-coordinated information campaign that ultimately led to people's businesses and economic livelihoods collapsing. And there are plenty of such companies here. In other words, in our lives, we see that there is a new type of people or profession emerging, where you can go to a company, pay money, and get information from a person, like bombard this person with information, and then some people start writing about him, he encounters them, they create scandals and other difficulties, and they start writing and writing about the person, saying that he did this, he did that, and so on. I forgot the word. It's also trendy, when everyone turns away from a person. So, recently Johnny Depp got involved in some similar story. They had some kind of disagreement with the girl, and then something like oops-ops, but he justified himself. Then something like oops-ops in front of some. Well, you get the idea, right? So, if people of such a level are engaged in this nonsense, what can be done with ordinary mortals? They just barely stuck out, and they were kind of overwhelmed. I want to say that, actually, it's not necessarily about writing there. Maybe there are some rumors spreading or something else. So how do you, friends, determine that the information that reaches you has some weight, meaning whether you believe in it or not? But actually, on a subconscious level, any information that reaches you is information. If it comes 10,000 times, well, on the 10,001st time it will become true. This is called direct hypnosis. That is, when the same thing is simply repeated. It doesn't matter. It's even important that you don't believe in it. The more you don't believe in it, the more tension needs to be created. And once again, and it penetrates deeper into the consciousness. That is, the world is amazing. And if you really, truly start meditating, if you actually start removing the hypnotic state from yourself, if you start removing the shackles of the social layer that imposes on people what the real state of things is. It is not like that. Have you heard this phrase? In my world, this doesn't exist. Or, in my world, it's like this. Yes, there are some laws of their own. It's very surprising, yes, very surprising what we are observing at the moment. And the speed at which it is all developing. That is, what will happen in 5 years, what will happen in 10 years. You understand that these things continue to grow very rapidly and steadily. In other words, the potential for informational influence on people continues to grow, not just in terms of convincing him of something, but of specific influence, including energetic. As I mentioned before, some kind of magical. Let me explain the word magic to you. Magic is certain laws that were incomprehensible to people in ancient times. And since they are incomprehensible, almost like a miracle, they said, oh, magic. But in reality, these are, in fact, information programs that, so to speak, have very specific structures, very specific sources, very specific mechanisms of impact, influence, and production, and operation, and they indeed work. And at this moment, in the current scenario, we are seeing more and more not so much the influences themselves, but people who want to have the ability to manipulate others in various ways, influences, and their impacts on a larger scale. People who want to study this field for personal gain. People who wish to influence the consciousness of others. Well, I'm not even talking about, so to speak, global world processes. We're not considering those. I'm speaking, so to say, on a level, person to person. Therefore, it might still make sense to engage in self-development. And not that self-development where you attended some training. Just think about it. What does it mean to sell? To sell a training. So, I started studying this topic now because I have the knowledge, but I can't sell these training sessions. I look, and I can see who is who. I see the person. In their reality, sells training courses more successfully than I do. I start to sort it out, and there are quite specific mechanisms you need to press on more. Even I can't say we can confidently tell you to solve this, and this. God knows what you will decide and what you won't, after completing some exercises that I give you. Because, well, I'm sure they are good, but I don't know what you will decide. I don't know where you are, at what stage, at what level of consciousness development you are, or anything like that. That is, one person can sit in bamboo and in 15 minutes time, and another person can sit and stay for 2 years, and maybe there won't be that many changes. In other words, you see, those who make better promises sell more successfully. They are definitely saying that you will be able to solve these problems, and people go and buy it. Do you understand? That is, up to now, I will try to explain it to you once again. Where is the truth, and what does a person buy? I'm curious what is the truth in the training. I bought some kind of training. I'll check it out. There's nothing there. Information. Well, it's such dry, empty information. Yes, there are a couple of exercises with a wow effect, like standing on nails or breathing rapidly, but this has absolutely nothing to do with real inner work. You might use a sledgehammer on someone's head or strangle them a bit, and then, oops, they start to fade away. Oh, see, the reboot happened. What the hell reboot? That was just a loss of consciousness. Oxygen deprivation of the brain. It's harmful. Friends, once again, understand what I am trying to tell you. You can't trust anyone anymore, really. There is practically no information left that carries the truth at all. And the world continues to confidently roll towards a place where it doesn't exist at all. So, soon we will be talking to each other. You say something, and the person kind of nods their head, but they don't understand you at all. And I am already encountering this. The person is saying their piece, and I'm thinking, wait a second, we were discussing a different topic. I start again, and the person repeats their own thing. They nod as if they understand me. That everything is fine. In reality, it is not. This nod turned out to be a sign that the person does not understand. Especially here in Indonesia, very interesting. You tell someone something, and they say, yes, boss, and then they do nothing. Oh, it's fine. Why? Well, just because. Do you understand how dangerous this is? How crazy is it really? Because everyone confidently talks to each other, thinking that we actually understand each other, or some processes are being conducted like meetings and forums. But in reality, the result is everyone has their own game. I think it is very valuable in this context to understand how deeply you are stuck in this crazy lie, yes, the one that is being fed to you and the one you are feeding to others. You talk to people, you share some information with them, and, well, some gossip among acquaintances, something like that. These ones have it like this, and those ones have that, and this is that. But how much of it is actually true? Have you met these people in person? Have you communicated and interacted with them? Are you sure that your opinion about these people, based on things you've actually heard somewhere, actually corresponds to reality in any way? You see, it's amazing. Indeed, in our world, there is more and more lies. And against the backdrop of this falsehood, as a counterbalance, you see, compensatorily, indeed, true knowledge must emerge. The fundamental principles of the laws of energy conservation are such that the more overall waste there is, and the more wasteful the system becomes, the more something bright, something genuine, something right must emerge somewhere in particular, inevitably leading to the emergence of something bright, something genuine. I think that anyone who truly hears me can really give themselves a significant positive mark in their karma and start working on themselves. Believe me, there are many different techniques, many magical initiations, and other things, but the blockages that a person imposes on themselves, the information with which a person lies to themselves, the emotions that a person hides from themselves, what gets stuck in them, the blockages on feelings that people put on themselves to avoid feeling all of this pain constantly resonates within them. No one else will unpack and understand it for them. Yes, there are definitely people who can help guide and show the way. And most importantly, understand that these people almost never have anything to do with the wow effect. This is not about drugs, not about ayahuasca, mushrooms, or anything else, not about acid, not about breathing, not about nails, not about vipassana, not about any wow effects. This is indeed pure knowledge, which has been painstakingly gathered and refined by a person who truly does not lie to themselves, absolutely. A person who, above all, does not lie to themselves. These are diamonds, truly valuable things. This is true knowledge. And at this very moment in our entire world, there is absolutely no chance, dear friends, to find this knowledge among all of the junk and trash beautifully wrapped in a beautiful package that is presented to you. None at all. No way. Just no way at all. A person off the street won't be able to completely understand what exactly they are buying, because he might be buying something truly valuable, very absurdly packaged. And on the contrary, taking something that looks really cool on the outside, but is junk inside. Of course, there is self-hypnosis. Of course, there is self-persuasion. And the more money a person pays, the greater the chance of what is called internally not admitting to oneself what exactly they have acquired. But real, genuine, truly deep things always yield results. They always highlight and reveal tension and stress. Sometimes this result, well, upon inspection, seems like a negative result. So, a person says, "It was hard for me," and then, like, it became really hard. But why? So, it's hard inside, and you were hiding it from yourself, right? Or the other way around. It was hard for the person, right? They had their compensations cut off. It became good, wow. But from ignorance and misunderstanding of what cause means, what internal structure means, what consciousness means, what compensation means, right? There is no understanding between these things. That is, well, just good and bad. But in reality, actually, he lost potential, lost more time, and ultimately got even more confused. In 2 weeks, in a month or two, it gets even worse. On the contrary, when real knowledge comes, it usually brings a systematic approach. First of all, there is clarity in the mind. At some point, a person realizes, "Oh, I felt completely different some time ago." It is indeed valuable when there is a change in the very quality of consciousness, when this quality of consciousness can truly reach the point where it begins to recognize itself, and real inner work from genuine, authentic techniques can start. When will those neuro-linguistic programs, established by society, established by parents, established by the community, slowly and gradually begin to weaken and influence our lives over time as we grow older? Filter information, friends, look at it more closely, and examine it in more detail, thoroughly. Is it true? It's a simple question, but how true is it? What you perceive, that you see, and experiment. Meditate with us, observe what is happening, and experience what truly profound changes can occur if you attend at least one of our incredible retreats, where you can genuinely interact with each other in a meaningful way and demonstrate pure knowledge, showing how these things work in a profound manner. In other words, there are no other options in a significant way. If the blockage is here and the compensation is here, then the person inside will experience this and that. And if he is experiencing this and that, then these are added to this and all of that. So here you go, a description of a person I am seeing for the first time. I see where the blocks are located. I understand that this dialogue will occur inside the mind. It can't be any other way. It's like mechanics. Study this mechanics and shed these blocks from yourself. Come to the pure and serene here and now without using anything at all. Be fully present in the moment, immersed in the continuous flow of light, and love that surrounds and embraces you.